Well, thanks again for inviting me. When Jenny and Darcy kind of approached me on this, I have to admit I was a little bit concerned about trying to wrap up a series on leadership, especially since you've gone through the program for a whole year. And I know there's some other folks in the audience here that might know a little bit about FISH, but we'll review a little bit here and then go into some ways in which we can apply it from my perspective. Now, today is not a how-to. Here's how you do it. Today is really getting you to think about how you can do it. And I'll be asking you some questions and getting you to think, and then we'll kind of wrap it all up together. Before I go on, another thought I had was a lot of times people start off a talk with saying, I'm honored to be here. And I didn't say that. It's not because I'm not. I really am, and it's because it's an opportunity to interact with students who will soon be leaders. I know all of you at some point will be a leader in some way. And that's one of the things we'll talk about is leadership has many different forms, many different definitions, many different styles. And also, I've seen some of our students who've graduated over the years. I've been at Drake 17 years now, and we've had some remarkable students go through the program, and I know full well that some of them will probably be my boss someday. And so this is another opportunity for me to impress you because you may be my boss someday. What I'd like to do is start off with a story, and Jenny and Darcy will pass it around. And I'm calling it a story. It's not a case, so I'm not trying to pull one over on you. But as you look through this story, it's fairly short. It'll take about a minute or two to read. What I want you to do is, if you have a pencil, you can write it down. If not, just a thought. What is your initial impression after you read this story? Just the first thing that pops into your head, gut reaction, what is it that you took away from reading it the first time? Okay, judging by your expressions, it looks like everyone's gotten through it. And judging by your expressions, it looks like there's a few that were a bit surprised, or at least your facial expression suggested that that's just another case. So, volunteers, what did you think when you first read this? Thank you.
I think it definitely shows you can't just assume things about people, and you have to look deeper into what people aren't just mad for reasons, or when people yell at you or anything like that. There's a reason for everything. I think you have to really look at each individual person as who they are, because you don't know what their background's like.
All right, great. Other thoughts? Yes, Tori.
Just one little thing that you do really can make a huge difference. I mean, here it's life-changing difference, but in other aspects it can be huge.
Okay. Other thoughts?
What Tori said, little things affecting other people, and really it's everything you do affects other people.
Okay, right. Everything you do, even the little things, can matter. So, any other thoughts, ideas out there? Okay. Okay. Certainly when I read it, it made an impression upon me about how this can apply to a lot of different things in life and how it applies to the fish theory. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, just really quickly, there's 4 major points or ideas behind the fish philosophy. And it all started with a fish market, I believe it was in Seattle, and it was a group of employers or employees, all working very efficiently together. They just had a rhythm about their work, a happy feeling, things went really well. It was a well-organized workplace. And a certain group of people are studying why does it work so well. And after studying it, they came up with these 4 major ideas by why the workplace or how the workplace can work really well and efficiently. And so we're going to go through each of these in some detail. And so be there, choose your attitude, make their day, and play. Now what I want you to do is, again, you can reread this probably a little bit quicker, but read it with these 4 areas in mind, and then we'll revisit each of those and kind of put it all together, how it relates to this story. So again, take another minute or so and read it with the idea of these 4 philosophies or 4 steps of the philosophy in mind. Okay, this hairstylist, let's just call this person Chris. We don't know if it's a male or female. Okay, so Chris, how was Chris being there? As you look at this story, what you know about being there, how is this person displaying that aspect of the philosophy?
Joking and laughing with her while she was there for her appointment.
Okay, joking, laughing with her, talking to her during her appointment. Was there anything about this story where maybe the hairstylist couldn't be there? In the sense, be there, there's physical, but then there's also the engaged part. Could you see how perhaps the hairstylist couldn't be there or may not have been there? Physically, sure, but
Just because I didn't know what was really going on with her.
Okay. It wasn't the person's regularly scheduled appointment. Hairstylist could have just said, I don't have time for you today. Or, yeah, I'll try to fit you in. And they do a real quick hurry up job type of thing. But the hairstylist was there, was being there. She treated the person, the customer or client, just as though she would have done any other time, whether it was scheduled or unscheduled. Okay. So a couple quotes to consider. In this particular one, a way of thinking about being there is being good is commendable. She was good, she took her in, gave her the haircut or the style, but only when it's combined with doing good is it useful. Okay. Can you think of some instances where you have a leader or a person who's always there physically, but is not engaged, isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing? They say, well, I'm here, but doesn't really engage anyone. Can you think of any examples or circumstances you've been in where, yeah, theoretically they were there, but didn't offer me much help or didn't offer customers, clients much help? Any examples you can think of? Personal life? Nobody. Okay. Put it another way. Think about this story, and it's a hairdresser, a hairstylist. But yet, in the end, this person had what ended up being a tremendous responsibility. Do you ever consider the tremendous responsibility you have to another person? You may not realize how much you affect them, but yet, here's an example where it was just a real simple time to get a haircut, hairstyle, and yet this person had a huge responsibility, unbeknownst to him or her. But can you ever think about your life as having this huge responsibility? Many times we think not until we have kids or a family or a spouse or someone dependent on us that all we got to do is take care of ourselves. But all of you will be a professional someday. You're going to have responsibilities as a professional, but it's going to extend beyond more than that, than just, here's my duty as a pharmacist, here's my duty as a healthcare professional. You also have a duty, in a sense, as a member of society, and everyone